On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, NEROFEST finally announced. I almost said a bad no-no word in the first 7 seconds, but I stopped myself. Hello, I am one of your hosts, Omega. Currently, I am very tire-sighted. With me, as always, is Lucky. He's very excired. Sorry, it took me a second to figure out how to combine tired and excited.
You can't do me better. I did that. I guess I'll die, shrug.
Perfect, yes.
So, with that, though, I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka a festival 8 years in the making. And while we here at Studio Mega like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EM version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers, get ready to return to the Coliseum. Yeah.
Well, I thank our industrious social media overlords because they let me title this episode something like NEROFEST finally announced! In all caps.
All caps.
You know, because people have been waiting for the news, and it did happen. But we do have some other stuff to get out of the way. And before we get all that stuff out of the way, I would like to remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by our lovely patrons like Adam Harp, Legacy G, Call Me Zed, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Face Icebird, Jerry Vasquez, JDV9000, Just Faye, John Sandoval, Starlight, Legendary Bellzunner, Liam Kessler, Region Raft, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robyn, Sharvar, Shumpire, Some Guy Named Bob, and Baron the Crow. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. Get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies. Thank you for your support, as always.
Thank you.
Sorry, I think I'm getting... Well, I know we just cut the grass today, so I think I'm getting, allergized. I had to, rapidly blink my poor eyes. Okay, alright. Game face. Close that tab. And we're gonna move swiftly on to check in with our favorite Kohai. Smash.
Senpai, 起きてください.
Because it's time for Wake the Fuck Up, except for pro tips.
Pro tips.
This pro tip is very simple. We're gonna be scooped. But there's not a lot we can do about that. You guys can actually watch along at home this time. I mean, you always could, but actual Aniplex USA has a streaming which will have some kind of English coverage. Not exactly sure about how they're going to swing that, but they will swing it. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure the one they've posted is for the big Game Information Corner segment, and that will be occurring at 12:45 Eastern Standard Time, Sunday the 31st, or the 30th, sorry. Yeah, the 31st is the Monday. Sunday the 30th, so, late Saturday night for most people, early Sunday morning for Eastern Seaboard. Presumably some sort of reasonable daytime hour for Japan time. But basically that means that we have to not record the show until, Sunday to do it, so we'll just talk about all this stuff next week. But you guys can, of course, watch along yourself. I believe, according to the charts, we should only actually be getting that special, overlap stream during the Game Information Corner. But as somebody in our patron chat did bring up ahead of time, do be careful tuning into these, because generally on these big panels, the hosts like to ask the guests, hey, what do you remember from this year? What have you been doing in FGO lately? So you may accidentally see or hear some story spoilers or stuff. I would assume that the English coverage, because they say commentary, not translation, will probably not, directly line for line work out all that stuff, but we'll see. We don't know, because it's going to be live. So, exercise caution while watching, but, be reasonably hoop about all the things.
Hoop.
And, we can have a fun time. No records, no evils. I literally logged in to double check, did you finish Master Missions? And I was like, no, because I hadn't done any of them. I've only got a little bit of time, so I might catch up on some of this stuff. Not that it super hurts missing out on a couple of scene courts. It just, wiggles your numbers. But yeah, so I've been focusing on lots of other stuff this past week and not FGO, but luckily we'll be back in for FGO soon. But to move on over, did you finish your Master Missions? They are pretty simple if you're actually remembering to hit up FGO. You need to perform 30 FP summons. Sorry, slight dry throat. I had to take a sip of water there. Defeat 20 enemies who are not servants or bosses. Defeat 15 Earth attribute enemies. Defeat 15 demonic enemies. Get 15 EXP drops through battles. And 30 EXP drops through battles. Now, when these Master Missions were declared at the start of the week, a lot of people in our community were like, oh, it's hunting quests. As you can tell, Chad, hunting quests did not appear. I don't know if these Master Missions are supposed to be synced to hunting quests in JP, but yeah, they're just pretty normal. Just do some dailies and stuff. Do your FP spins. Try to get that Habitrot. But that does mean we can talk about Skelegrams. I thought about doing my Skeletor voice there, but then I'm like, no, you're kind of dry and scratchy. Don't do that too much. I'm going to be pausing to cough and drink more water. But yes, into the news. One big NA news item. It's finally been announced. It's finally happening. Revival, Grand NEROFEST, Summer 2023, starting the 31st, and ending the 13th of August. And after much holding back, it has finally been announced. Kind of a surprise. I was even technically streaming, our bonus stream this month was Melty Blood. You should go watch that if you haven't already. Had some fun poking all the FGO crossover characters. Learning buttons. Being bad at fighting games, ? But, there was no in-app news, so I was like, oh, I guess there's nothing. But then when I actually fired in, yes, they actually did a tweet, and on the website there was I think a lot of people got a fucking push notification about it, actually. That comment doesn't shock me. Ushi's fun but weird. There's a lot of, after images and weird shit, which I am definitely not big brain enough to use. Dante's just range attacks, though, which means you can do the cheese. Just spam quarter circle triangle over and over again. But, yes, so they finally announced it. It's happening. It's happening the 31st, so that's cool. We got it confirmed. NEROFEST confirmed. I'm not really sure why we wanted to hold on quite so long, but I guess because we added the Clear Part 3? I guess the Maeve Banners Part 3? Yeah, the Clear Campaign Part 3 and the story missions, they wanted to make sure there wasn't too much of a backlog, I guess, but yeah, this will be when the second Morgan banner ends, is when this actually hits. So yes, you can honestly say we had a full-ass dead week. Not super fun, but it does happen. But yeah, Lotto, it's coming. It does include the, after you clear the first 10, you can do 100 boxes at a time. Don't have to do 10s. The first full 10 boxes, by the way, you can do 100 spins. So you can get a lot of stuff out of it. It's going to be super cool. Nero's first costume, that's the Olympia Bloomers, is going to be back. You're going to earn rare prisms if you already have it. So there you go. Keep your rare prism economy back up. Old CEs are still valid if you were playing the game early enough to have Cheer for Master and Three-Legged Divine Race. Both of those CEs are still good. I'll have to dig them out of my second archive.
Same.
But that'll give you damage bonus and Lotto currency drop up. So keep that one in mind. For banners, we've got both Brynhildr and Summer Nero banners. With those are separate rate-ups, obviously because of pity. With Estrella, Caesar, Romulus, and Boudica up on both of those. Also, fun little fact that I'm sure some of you will be excited for, because I know a lot of people really wanted the NEROFEST to start while we still had our triple suck chance for anniversary. But did you know this NEROFEST will come with double suck chance for the whole duration? So obviously not as good as triple, but yeah, for the whole 2 weeks you'll get double suck chance. So if you were still waiting for some of that extra level grinding, especially with the Lotto EXPs, you can still get some of that done, which is nice.
Yeah.
So yeah. And if that was in the original in JP, that may involve possibly there being some overlap that they wanted to avoid. I'm not sure. But yeah. No need for a full pregame or anything on this. It is, for the most part, what do we call it? A rerun of what we're working on. I do believe that they have, actually no, I know for a fact because some of those servants are new. They have rebalanced the team-ups. The actual enemies you fight will be different and include some newer servants, but I'm looking at the stats right now, and like the, preliminary championship is, you gotta fight Ibuki Doji, Kyokoyo, and a Black Samurai. Ibuki Doji has 180,000 HP, for a farm. It's pretty normal. You'll have access to damage bonus Cs. You'll be doing alright. Yes, they can also drop newer mats because they include newer mobs. But it's the same NEROFEST metals currency you gotta worry about. Your different tiers of enemies are gonna be pretty manageable. There will be, a couple of Saint Courts in there, but you can check our previous establishments of what's going on. And yes, we do in fact have the return of the exhibition, the high difficulty exhibition quests for mats and summon tickets. And beautifully, these do not appear to be updated at all. So, the very first exhibition quest, remember, is the 11 times Guts Herc, a level 70 Berserker with a mere 240,000 HP, no break bars, only revives himself with 50% HP 11 times. The only real thing, which I think was there originally, but it still matters, is he puts a 100% arts performance buff down on you. So you gotta on your front row, so you gotta either do some shim sham or just don't use art strats. Shocking, I know, but yeah, this should be pretty fun to actually try out the whole 2 waves. The second set are actually new enough to actually have some break bars, but you'll figure them out. Hold on, fighting a sneeze.
He's fighting a sneeze.
Oh, okay.
He lost.
Correct, but it's okay. Oh yeah, that's right. This the second wave of exhibitions, the 2017 exhibition quests, includes the 5 million HP Arash, where he does his noble phantasm 3 times and then he dies. That had Pierce Invincible at the time, but guess what, chat? That doesn't matter anymore because Castoria exists. You would just be like, no, do not. Yeah, I believe Guts was the strat the first time around, but there's a lot of other fun stuff here. So yeah, this should be a good time. In your Lotto boxes, you're looking at skill gems, mana prisms, EXPs, some friend points, and then mats such as pages, night metals, hero proofs, chains, and void dust. Also a decent chunk of QP every time. For the first 10 boxes, there will be 1 gold apple per box, so you can get at least 10 gold apples, and there's 3 bronze apples per box in perpetuity, so you can refill those if you've used up a lot of them. But yeah, should be a fun time. Also, since it is the FGO Fest this week, there's a lot of I know they call it FGO Fez, but it's really like a Type Moon festival at this point.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of, upcoming animation news and game news and stuff. While still no news about Extra Record exactly, we got a lot of interviews and recent news about Samurai Remnant. A lot of stuff going back and forth there, showing off a few more servant designs, showing off some other stuff going on. Our assassin looks very snicky.
Nick.
We've also gotten a confirmed cutout for a new Tamamo. This one is yellow.
I cannot be contained.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, my personal thought, I think that the assassin is Orochimaru from the Tale of Gallant Jiraiya.
Yeah, after seeing how sneaky he is, I tend to agree.
Yeah.
And we've mentioned the tale of, while not, no characters I think have actually shown up from it, the tale of the Gallant Jiraiya has been referenced a couple of times by FGO.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff going on here, a lot of things to consider. So it's looking pretty good. They've talked a little about some of the story designs. I believe the game's actual director on the Koei Tecmo side says that he's been playing FGO for 6 years, I think.
That's good.
Yeah, so the general vibes, and like I said, there's loads and loads of interviews how to Type Moon Ace and stuff like that. You guys can track on your own. But the general vibes I get on this is just that this is a product that is definitely being made with love. It sounds like a lot of the upper level team are either obviously like Nasu himself, direct from Type Moon, or are big fans of the franchise that are coming into this. So that's good to know. I believe we also got confirmation. I don't know if it's necessarily related to the English release, but there will be a PC/Steam release for the Tsukihime remake.
Yes.
Previously, it was not available on PC. I believe the discussion of that was from Nasu about basically that he, having been running a small VN circle for a number of years before they blew up, he understood that if they did a PC release, the game would be hella pirated. So basically, it sounds like they're just they delayed the PC release for a while to let it breathe and get their initial wave of sales, and then they're like, okay, we're doing the broader release to language packs and stuff. We'll put it on PC eventually. So yeah, that's neato. Keeping track of all that stuff, and I'm sure we will get more. We'll get more franchise news as the FGO Fez continues. Let's see. Obviously, keeping an eyeball out for any kind of extra record news. That has unfortunately been in a lot of development hell over the past couple of years, I think. So that's been trucking, and probably keep an eye on any potential release windows for the full season of Strange Fake, and other little bits and bobs. And obviously, FGO wise, JP will have their big 8th anniversary, so obviously we're looking out for Anniversary Servant, what hell format the Lucky Bag will be in, the GSSR after 8 goddamn years, what it'll look like. Any big mechanics updates. I know everybody's hoping for a coin update, and I think that would probably be pretty easy to implement. You just have to, figure out what the balance is, right? Whether that's like everybody gives you 5 more coins or whatever the math is, or what. That seems pretty high on the list. Obviously, we'll get a shitload of rank ups for an anniversary, which is always nice to see. We may see the famous Merlin rank up, but yeah, there's a couple of Lotto or bingo cards sitting out there. I'm kind of hopeful for new bronzes or 3 stars. Obviously, they've been a little better about some of the lower rarity stuff, but a new bronze infusion. It's been a few years. There's a couple of characters who need some sprite and animation updates. It's true. Would be great to see some more of that. Graphics refreshment for a lot of older characters. We'll probably get our summer tease, so we'll probably see at least one Noble Phantasm, and possibly at this date, pictures at least of everybody involved for one banner in the mails. So we'll be seeing. In general, there's I don't know where these brainworms are coming from, but there has been, I assume because it's so mimetic, but there has been a certain amount of this we're gonna sync up with JP thing out there in the world. I'm not really sure why, other than that it's, I guess, very weird and clickbaity, for people to be into. Personally, like, yeah. Oh, is it because Albert and the crew flew out to JP? Well, I mean, they flew out to JP because they gotta be there to do... What, you think they're gonna fucking do English commentary with Albert pipped in from California at 9 o'clock at night? I know that he's showed up like remotely for a couple of JP things, but most of those I think were pre-recorded. That's a little... That's the kind of thing where I don't know exactly what labor laws are like in California, but I'm pretty sure they can't make him... They're not supposed to make him phone in from 9 o'clock in the office. Technically almost 10 o'clock or whatever. So yeah, that's probably just, making sure the timing to actually get some of these crossover announcements out there. But yeah, personally, listen, I'm open to being shocked. But generally the vibe okay, I'll put it this way, because this is the thing that's been in my mind, right? Right, chat, people at home, commenters, comment leavers. If we were really about to gear up for, like, some kind of schedule acceleration or, big unification of servers or whatever bullshit, do you think we would be doing a dead week before NEROFEST? Like, that just doesn't logically track to me. Why would you... I mean, obviously, someone would be like, oh, you don't want to tip your hand, but, like, it just doesn't make sense to me that, like, people in our community, in our Discord, and like, sending us comments on videos, leaving us mailbag questions and stuff, like, have been, jittering and chomping at the bit and stuff, right? They've been vibrating because they're all done with Lost Belt 6, they were done first week of that, and, like, we're all, waiting for something to happen, right? Mm-hmm. So, to most of our audience, this has been a dead week. I say most, obviously. I know some of you are still behind on Lost Belt 6, but, like, no new content has been necessarily forthcoming since that Oberon banner hit. So yeah, like, it doesn't ring true to me. Like I said, I don't claim to be a future seer. Personally, I think people read too much into Albert saying he's going to destroy our clairvoyance. Technically, that already happens. You're getting a NEROFEST nowhere where you thought it was going to be. Also, the Oberon banner was... I don't think anybody had 2 days after the Part 3 release on their bingo card, Like,
not mine.
He's still been fucking with us a little bit there. Like, there's... So, that may ring true, because now that we're getting NEROFEST at this time, I'm like, oh, when the fuck are we going to get the hunting quests? I don't know. Will that be like the gap week between NEROFEST and summer? I literally have no idea. So, like... But we're probably going to have lots of these little things of just abject confusion. And like I said, we may actually see some genuine, like, crossover potential. Like, I could see, assuming it's not, new content, I could see both servers getting, say, a Samurai Remnant tie-in banner. Rerun Saber Musashi maybe, something like that. Give everybody a little bit of court stuff. Usually we're still behind with some of those announcements, but depending on the schedule, we may get some more of that. I just think in general that currently we are in a phase where Lasengel wants to understands that they have an international audience who is looking to JP as the front runner and trying to stay abreast of this information. They have English-speaking people who play the JP version, and we're in a phase where we want to explicitly acknowledge those people, which is not something that has been done previously. I've even seen some debate in our Discord, and I've talked about it. We might see, limited international releases of the normally JP server, like a separate version access that people don't normally have. Might see some, language options and stuff, like some limited English menus to make it more accessible to different people in different areas. But considering explicitly Aniplex USA's history with that part of it, the accelerated schedule stuff doesn't seem like it's going to happen, because I feel like most of the times they've done that, that's killed the game, and that's not going to be what Daddy Aniplex, Big Lasingle, and Big Papa Sony want, right?
Well, they can't accelerate out of the blue. I definitely think to say there have been gacha games that have been on accelerated schedules, but they take like over 2 years to catch up. So,
and I mean, like, hypothetically, if we did want to, if we did want to trim dead weeks, we could probably in 2 years catch up to JP. The problem is that I don't know how our localization department is going to handle that. The problem is that FGO has gigantic fucking story releases. That I don't know how many novels worth of paper, were actually part of Lost Belt 6, but like, how we know that they were struggling to get that content out for JP on time. Can you imagine them trying to also get the script translated into English to catch up? It's just, it sounds like it's just a huge pain in the ass that's not worth it. But I could definitely see them trimming a few of the dead weeks to make us maybe get to some of our big story stuff a little faster. Strictly speaking, that would not be new. You guys have just experienced accelerated schedule in that it's been, 2-ish months and all of Lost Belt 6 is done, as opposed to, one release each month for like 3 months. So more of that I don't even think that needs announcing. That's just a thing that happens to us, It's like, will Lost Belt 7 take like a month to come out? Probably not. No, I would assume not, based on what I've seen previously. So we'll see. We'll find out soon. It's a couple of days to the stream. But that's enough pontificating and proliferating from me.
Those are big P words.
Yeah, we've managed to stretch the raw audio to about 30 minutes. That's probably a good time to get into mailbag.
Alrighty.
Actually, wait, one more thing. I forgot to mention. I brought up the Oberon burner earlier. Chat. I will try to remember, but I need you guys to remember. I owe a guy an Oberon spin. Not now, obviously, because his banner is ended, but somebody super chatted or super thanks to the show from like 2 weeks ago now, and was telling me to get a full pack for Oberon with some extras, because it's like 80 something, and they were like $99 super thanks, which I super appreciate. But obviously the banner's over by the time the show comes out. The timing was a little off, but also we don't get YouTube money in until like the late end of the next month. So anything you give now in late July, that doesn't show up until August. But so the timing just didn't work out. But like, that's still, a big deal for somebody to drop on all that. So I want you to just, somebody please help me remember that I owe that guy an Oberon spin when his next banner comes out. Or if you, that person, are listening, you want to redeem that, that 80-pack effect later, or earlier, I should say, give me a jingle. That would probably be for summertime? Sorry, Patreon chat's melting a little. Right, sorry, mailbag.
So, with that, it is time for this week's Let's Talk FGO Mailbag. The segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. This week, even though this only came out like 6 hours ago, because Doshgon Plum forgot.
According to, I have just refreshed it and looked at the tab. According to YouTube, posted 5 hours ago.
Like, thank you, Architect, for the reminder, because what was I doing? Oh, that's right. I had a weird day at work, and then I went into a food coma because I ate 5 giant cinnamon rolls all by myself in less than half an hour.
Yeah, Wednesday was a goop day.
Goop. Big goop energy. Or lack of energy, rather. I don't regret those cinnamon rolls. I just regret how quickly I ate them. Might give me more cinnamon rolls.
We're
I
gonna
gotta go
Space
grocery
Mountain
shop.
this time.
Yeah, I will. Well, I gotta go grocery shop, and I have someone coming over Sunday, and I'm going to cook. I'm gonna be making some burgers. I'm gonna pull out the potato salad. Excuse me. Potato salad and deviled eggs from my Final Fantasy XIV culinarian cookbook. They're very good.
Cook.
I will cook. But that's neither here nor there, so I will give this one last refresh, just to see. We have 13 lovely, lovely submissions. Thank you so much for getting these all in the last 5 hours.
Appreciate you. You're preached.
But let's get started right meow. And this first one comes from the Tyrant King, who is locked, loaded, and ready to farm like he's never farmed before. Question: Hey guys, with NEROFEST coming back for another round, which challenge quests are you looking forward to test your new servants on? Also, with the first of the Summer Servants probably being previewed tonight on the Staff Talk, any last predictions for the Summer Servants? Anyway, that's it for me. Sending good vibes your way. Wah 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 wah. And hope you have a great evening. Same to you. Thank you very much. With challenge quests, I have always been a little bitch of how should we say, a bitch about them. So I really necessarily try them. So I don't actually know them that well and what they comprise of. But knowing that we have old ones that, aren't, roiling with, current content mechanics, I'll definitely be giving them a lot more of a side eye this time.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure I tried most of the Nero exhibition quests back in the day because they give you tickets. I don't know if I was ever able to do the finales though of either of those because those were genuinely quite hard at the time, the very last ones. So probably those will be where I'll be at. As
for the Summer Servant predictions, I am still gonna double down on Summon Morgan as a pretty sure lock in. A lot of people say that. A lot of people believe that. If it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be fussed necessarily here. Necessarily either way, because like I said, Summer Servants are usually pretty good in general. Again, I am super excited for a Summer Bargus as well. I would like a Summer Passion Lip. I wouldn't mind a Summer Koyanskaya either.
It could be very funny.
I think it'd be quite hilarious. But as you can tell, all my predictions are based around my greed and desires. So
I will continue to call them out for not pulling the trigger on Summer Semiramis until it happens, because that would in that chocolate factory, a pigeon literally told me that she looks good in a swimsuit, and I'm like, where is your evidence, pigeon? It's been 5 years. I mean, actually, yes. For this year. I mean, I'd love to see Summer Medusa, but I'm also pretty sure it's not happening because we literally just got 5-star Medusa. Summer Medusa is high on a lot of people's lists. It's a classic. I could see that. I'm trying to think. Were there any other obvious weird ones? No. I mean, right up there with Summer Morgan, we could also get Summer Castoria, Summer Avalon Lefay. Just to keep our fucking whatchamacallit, our support casters cycling. That said, we did literally get Lady Avalon last time, and that's probably that's already Arts Merlin, so it's pretty close, but it would be funny.
It would be funny.
But yes, give me Summer Morgan Ruler. Also, I'll say this. People are like, oh, we recently got, not to say anything bad about Tandaresh, but we recently got that Tandaresh costume, and I'm like, no, I will not stop huffing Kofium. Until she gets her little hood or her summer, I'm not going to stop doing that. I will hope. Wait and hope.
I am hoping that Summer Morgan did steal the squirt gun from Summer Artoria.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of drawings about that. Yeah, I mean, technically, the Summer squirt gun is named after her because
yes,
she was.
It's named Vivian.
Yeah, sometimes she has been the Vivian.
I think that would be very interesting, though. Summer Morgan maybe exemplifying more of her Vivian aspect.
Yeah, actually being the fairy of the lake. I can see that. I gotta be honest, I don't know how long they've solidified what concepts in Fate. I feel like Nasu had the Morgan world building in his back pocket for so long that even after he literally changed the story to be about a different Morgan, he still had to show us all of his fucking exposition, all of his research notes about Morgan. I predict that there will be at least 4 Summer Servants. Actually, I don't know how many we're gonna get, because I genuinely do not know if we're gonna do 3 SSRs or 2 again. We'll see.
I think we're going to go with 2. Lady Avalon was I feel like it was really weird, but I really do feel like Lady Avalon was just a secondary anniversary character that just got hijacked, for lack of a better word, by Archetype Earth. It's very weird, but
yeah, so like I predict roughly 50% of the summer swimsuit servants will be characters nobody was even thinking about when it happened. Give me Summer Kyokoyo.
That'd be great too. Anyway, let's keep moving on. Oh, this one has a read more. Oh, okay. So this next one comes from Commandant of the Purifying Force. Hello, Praetor Lucky and Imperator Omega. Praetor.
It's what they translate a lot of different ways, but that's sometimes what they translate Nero calling Master as.
Oh, that's right, Praetor. It's almost 4 years since the original NEROFEST 3 run, and I feel hella nostalgic. I still remember how ballsy I was by grinding NEROFEST buying good old-fashioned brawling since I still had an underdeveloped account with barely any supports, all while still recovering from retinal detachment surgery that had both artificial lens and a silicone bubble implant with stitches that stings and itches while healing. Ugh.
Yeah, I think I remember actually this person leaving a mailbag back then about the fact that they had eye surgery.
Yeah. It was by far the craziest thing that I did for FGO back then, and it was my third surgery to be exact. Oh, and to refresh Lucky Omega's memories, I was that one Discord member who sparked said discussion about my condition, and Lucky gave me a subtle shout out in that Let's Talk FGO episode covering the Lotto. At the time, currently running, Summer 2 just ended. I know it's a bit of a rehash at this point, so here's my question. What were the craziest things you guys did just for FGO? Thanks and good vibes from the Philippines. P.S. It's in the intro for Let's Talk FG, 800 Days of Mystic Eyes, September 1st. August 30th for you guys, 2019's episode. I am JP Kun. It was my original account before I needed a new one because I forgot my two-factor authentication key. I might go look that up.
Always remember your keys.
Always remember your keys.
Sadly, as usual, I don't think the craziest thing I've done for FGO will be as remarkable as some of the things Lucky has done, because some of Lucky's stories still live in infamy. Like, hey, remember that time that you beat all of Apocrypha in, like, a day, 24 hours?
It was a night. It was a single night. Excuse.
Yeah. I think you just passed out for a week.
I had to pass out for a week, yeah!
I'm trying to think. Were there any, like, crazy pushes? I've gone ham and stayed up way too fucking late, technically early in the morning, to finish some story drops before.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure we've gone ham on story. Like, well, actually, I think this was another one of my faults. My fault was like, no, I must finish the story now. I'm pretty sure I've done something like that. And then Meg is like, okay, I guess we're finishing story.
Yeah. I think that's happened back and forth, I think, multiple times with story, where it's just like, oh, I'm done. And the other one goes, well, shit, I'm not done. Damn it. Now I need to be done.
I'm trying to... Unfortunately, Lucky lives his life with, I won't say no regrets, because that's a lie, but very few regrets, and the few regrets he does have, I try not to think about them. So, what a lot of people may consider crazy, I just consider my everyday, so it's really hard for me to get to actually think of something. No, unfortunately, I think other people would probably be better judge of this than I would. If anyone that has any, famous or infamous stories of me doing weird shit in FGO, please let me know in the comments or maybe in another mailbag next week. I am curious to know what things about me people remember.
Actually, I think I vaguely remembered one. There have been some times, not recently, knock on wood, but there have been some times where my FGO access has been limited due to utility loss due to hurricanes.
Yeah.
And while I have not been good at communicating through the power of cell phone hotspots and stuff, there have been times when I've had, no power, no internet at my home, and I have still logged into FGO. I think I actually, did at least a weekly ticket spin once that way. Nothing happened, of course, but,
By the power of Zeus.
I have tried to maintain some of my level of logins while fucking powered out before.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I just thought about something. But with that, I think we're going to move on to the next one. So this next one comes from a master who's given Mecha Ellie... Excuse me. A master who's having Mecha Ellie give Melusine lessons on ace combat and artillery warfare. And when I read that, my first thought was, can I get a Melusine decal for a fucking armored core? It's like, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need hella waifu decals for Armor Core 6. Actually, I need to pre-order that now that I think about it. I'm gonna be dog shit at it because I haven't picked up Armor Core since my PS2 days, but I'm gonna play it. I love it. But they say, hey, General Lucky and Senator Mega. Yeah, that sounds about right. Hope your week has been pleasant and stress-free. It has not. May your grind on NEROFEST be fruitful and smooth. This will also be not. My question this week dabbles in a hypothetical. Given Morgan's nature in Lost Belt 6, do you think she would have raised Castoria if she found her at a young age? Do you think she would have found a way to truly save Britain, or simply molded her into another version of herself? Sending you the good vibes, wah 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 wah, and may the summer be cool and fun.
It will not be cool.
It will not be cool.
It will be hot. So as for this hypothetical, I mean, for the first half,
No, I think it's been... The interesting thing about Lost Belt 6 is a lot of things are told from people's own perspectives and whatnot, and it's only through like listening to the person themselves that you understand what happened. Even though like I can't remember what you called it, but the massacre that Arthur did, looking for a specific child, I think it was specific.
It was Mordred. It was the Mayday massacre.
Mayday massacre, yes. Even though there's like some implications like that Morgan may have done that looking for the child of prophecy, it comes out later that no, Morgan just said, bring the child of prophecy to me alive.
Yes. It's all the other political bullshit trying to, work against Morgan that made any of those things happen. Like, we find out in Castoria's memories, right, that Tintagel wasn't actually attacked by Woodwose. It broke out in civil war, and Woodwose was just like, all right, we're gonna move in and stop rebellion, settle the fighting, and figure out where the child of prophecy is.
Mm-hmm. So no, I do actually think that Morgan would have taken in Artoria, and I don't know if the word would raise would be, but maybe be some sort of mentor figure to her. The thing about it seems like Morgan, well, Lost Belt Morgan, I should definitely say, is she seems to let people make their own paths. Like, she's very apathetic as a whole. She only cares for the good of Britain. And as we kind of learn, she doesn't necessarily consider herself to be... Well, I take that back. She does consider herself to be the best way to keep Britain going afloat, but she is not against finding other means to do so as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was the whole thing with Queen Mab and the throne and other such things. She did have contingency plans, and she did have things. So I do believe that she probably would have taken some sort of mentor role to Castoria if maybe she had actually found her before fucking to death.
Yeah. Like, if at any point before Act 1, Pip 1 of Lost Belt 6 happened, I think Morgan could probably have been like, okay, yeah, you're sure. I'll take you in. Here's, blah, 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 you do this. But once we start down the path of setting stuff up, Morgan remains committed.
Yeah, no.
And does straight up have that conversation with Castoria when we do actually get our meeting in Camelot, where she's like, hey, if if at any point you go, until such time as you choose to go down this path, you are my humble guest, blah, blah, blah. I don't care what you do, but if you start ringing bells, that means that we are enemies. I expect she probably could have explained why, that happened, because, like, the second half of the question is, like, would she have just molded Castoria into another version of herself? Maybe?
I can't say either or.
Yeah, I feel like she definitely would have tried to actually, like, explain, because I think the Child of Prophecy, obviously, Castoria talks about her visions of the storm and all that stuff, her whole life. She still would have been drawn to the path of ringing the bells and trying to figure out what the fuck that means, and Morgan would have just been like, well, that'll never work, because the actual meaning of ringing the bells is the fairies feel sorry for what they've done, and, they're not going to do that ever. So, like, I think she probably would have tried to talk Castoria around, but I don't know what would have happened, right? Like, I don't know what shape that would have taken. There also, you'd have to deal with a great many shenanigans. Like, for instance, when does Beryl show up in this? Then again, knowing Castoria's perspective, I could imagine, her just putting a brick of C4 in Barrel's evening meal one day.
Sorry, someone added me in games because they were sharing the Tamalale again, which is acceptable in my books.
Yes. Also, you're also getting mentioned on other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see, possibly, given that how she worked with other people, Castoria slotting into this dynamic with Babanshi. But also, the problem is that depending on when Barrel get there, that would very rapidly turn bad, because I am sure that Barrel would be like, hey, your mom's paying attention to this child of prophecy. Maybe she thinks she's better than you. You should, I don't know, fucking kill her in her sleep. Man. But also, like I said, I have strong feelings that, actually, this is a good question. She saw him at Camelot. I'm trying to remember what Castoria thought of Barrel the couple of times they would have met, because they don't actually see each other a lot. But like I said, I feel like Castoria would probably try and slip Barrel a pipe bomb. Pipe bomb here. Chat, let us know what you think in the comments below. Would Castoria shove Barrel off a balcony at the first opportunity? I'm going to be honest, probably the reason why she doesn't have a bomb throwing as a gag animation is probably because that line wasn't written until way fucking later after she was put in the game.
Probably.
It's one of those weird cases where Nasu and the FGO team had that design for Castoria way, way, way before that Lost Belt was finalized. As evidenced by the fact that several of Castoria's skill names change.
But I think that's enough time we spent on this hypothetical. It was a good question, but we try not to overdwell too long on these.
We do have a few more. Decent number more.
So, this next one comes from sad that NEROFEST Lotto doesn't have statues or monuments. But it has skill gems, baby.
I need those.
Listen, there's always statues and monuments in events. They almost never have skill gems in events.
Actually, yeah, there probably will be some monuments in the store, because you do still have store currency.
Mm-hmm. But they say, question. Howdy, Lucky Omega. Glad to see we have an announcement for the event that isn't summer. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I was doing my mental grading here and just... Question, colon. Howdy, Lucky and Omega. Glad to see we have an announcement for the next event and it isn't summer. Wipe sweat from brow because I have more time to save for summer banners now. No punctuation. As for my question this week, do you think that maybe after the release of Samurai Remnant, do you think Studio BB will start giving updates about Extra Record or work on DLC for Samurai Remnant for a while after its release? Question mark.
Well, Studio BB won't do anything with Samurai Remnant because they're not on that project. I think the only branding is obviously Koei Tecmo is doing a bulk of the development, and Type Moon is supervising. The only project I believe that is announced explicitly for the Studio BB, side studio, is Extra Record. So I hope that they are still working on it diligently.
Mm-hmm. I assume they are still working on it. I'm just assuming that they have hit snags somewhere here or there. Someone got sick, something happened.
Yeah, actually, I guess, when did they first announce Extra Record? Was that right before COVID? Was that summer of 19?
Maybe they lost some team members.
I mean, video game development stuff is hard, and if they're actually doing it properly, it takes a while anyway. We don't actually know what stage of development they were at properly when they announced it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll keep our eyes peeled for more news.
Excuse me. But I don't think we have anything necessarily to add to that, so let us move on. So this next one comes from when being a fairy is literally the definition of toxicity. Hey, Lucky and Mega, hope the summer heat hasn't been too bad where you are. Check the temperature right now. It is currently 78 degrees Fahrenheit at 6:30 p.m.
Currently it is 80 degrees Fahrenheit, partly cloudy at a solid 9:30 at night.
But luckily, I have air conditioning, and I am not afraid to use it.
Central air, it's good.
But this person goes on to say, my questions for you this week are: 1. Do you think the inability for the LB6 fairies to develop AIs that can detect lies and falsehoods stem from the original sin when the fairies deceive Carnous? Is it Carnous? Big C.
Yeah, Big C. Big Fluffy. Carnous.
Big Fluffy C.
I don't actually know if you're supposed to do a long N there with a double N sound. Consonants, y'all.
2. Does the fact that the poison killed Big Fluffy C put its potency at the same level as the Black Barrel in being a god slayer? I am going to say no. This was actually probably something very specific to do a very specific thing.
Yeah.
The Black Barrel is a god slayer, but it is actually very much god slayer.
well, they've explained it, but it works on basically like a magecraft principle. The principle is the black barrel is more powerful the larger and longer the lifespan of the creature you are targeting with it is.
Mhm.
That's why normally when it's being used, MASH has to take a couple seconds to actually like tabulate what the life, expectancy of the creature was supposed to be. When we actually shoot Big C, he's mostly already dead. We only use one command spell and we don't use as much juice, so I think we just, use it as a magecraft artillery, basically. Magic energy go in, big boom come out.
Yeah.
The poison would have been specific. As for the fairy eyes question, I think you've got it backwards, saying the inability of the fairies to develop fey eyes. The way at least everybody talks about it is that the fairies lost their ability to keep their fey eyes. Like, their fey eyes degraded over time. I'm gonna assume that it's probably, I don't know if it's necessarily the Karunus original sin. It might also be the fact that they're barred from going back to Avalon.
I think it's because they refuse to look at the truth, so they cannot tell it anymore.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what in their backstory fuck up caused their ability to see the truth from lies degraded. That's not right, because it's hard to see.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about it, and yes, I definitely think that it's probably because since they avoid the truth, they can no longer perceive it. So, yeah. Oh, excuse me. This person had one more line. Sending you summer vibes as I continue to try and figure out Big C's priestess was able to spawn both male and females, or if not, so just skipped Bio 101.
Magic!
Fairies were involved.
Sacraments with a capital S.
You gotta remember, they literally scrambled DNA to get all the variants in there, and like I said, DNA is horribly complex. They actually do explain that. How they, when Da Vinci Small talked about, all these humans come from one source, it's through, like, someone did, like, stupid, crazy, like, genome swapping. So, yes, making, male and females out of one set of DNA is not impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually know where biologically the Y chromosome evolved at, but I'm sure that if you wiggled stuff enough, you'd be able to backport that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the information contained in DNA was important. This is that's why Big Skelly is so important, because it just contains, all the genetic history of the planet for 4 billion years or whatever.
Lord Skelly!
Information is power. More data equal more power.
I miss Mirror already. But let us move on. This next one comes from Master continues to irrationally use the daily disappointment summon. I mean, I think that's what it's there for. It's not like, oh, you can just get, one big summon out there. There you go. It won't matter.
Just a little daily.
Little daily. You'll get something. We swear.
And that something is...
Mapo Tofu.
Sakura's Bento Box.
I love Sakura's Bento Box. Fuck you. I'm happy every time that appears.
But I have so many of them. Do I need this many?
Well, start feeding them to things.
I do, actually. No, when I get my extra C's, I use them. But, yeah.
So, they say, good evening, Omega and Lucky. To each of you, who is your favorite alter ego? I mean, I can't choose between them. It's the Sakura 5. I have 3 alter egos, 3 Sakura faces. I refuse to choose between them. You cannot make me.
I mean, I got a really easy one. Larva/Tiamat. Boom, done.
I guess that is
Pack
true.
It up, go home.
That is true, actually. I have to switch my answer to Larva Tiamat as well. I was only thinking NA.
Yeah. Not
forever.
I'm gonna be honest. I went to Tiamat because otherwise it would probably be a weird one, because we're still rolling out a few. We've only got about. It's very funny, chat, but we only have about half the alter egos who are in the game, period, out in NA right now. The other half is still in front of us. Wild, I know. But we have Melt, Lip, Kiara, the Mecha Ellies, Ukitan, Sitonai, KP, and Doman. We will not be getting another alter ego until Valentine's next year. That's not clear. But there you go. Alter egos.
There you go. So, let's move on. This next one comes from Monster Girl Aficionado, who needs to clear 2 more expansions by next summer. Don't worry, you're not the only one, as I turn to my co-host.
Don't worry, I'll manage it. We're at quest level 66, I think, in Stormblood?
Yeah, you'll make it, as long as you don't, miss any weeks. I think you'll probably be fine.
Listen, if I have to pick up extra weeks or do more shit off-stream or whatever, stream longer, I'll do it. I'm in it. We're gonna be there, day 1. I will be part of fucking QEX.
Ooh. It is going to be QE. Well, actually, no. They said they've been picking up more hardware. It might not be as bad. It won't be
It's true. They'll have a year to ramp up, and they are planning on adding a whole new player base between then and now.
Oh, that's true. Actually, they are planning another. Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Yeah. But
if you want more Final Fantasy 14 thoughts, keep that in mind. We'll be back with that with What's Up and other special coverage.
Actually, let me real quick before I move on. Let me go double check the FanFest page and let me see their schedule.
Oh, I am so glad that the Margaritaville memes, though. Listen, I've lived in Florida a lot of years, so like I'm just used to those that particular type of beach vibe, and I'm so glad that people are taking and running with it for Dawn Trail.
Okay, the letter from the producer only runs from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. That's Lucky Standard Time. I could start just streaming 14 from then, and then we can just pivot to what I can just publicly hang out with whatever crows that are online, and then just pivot to recording when a mega, or we can just keep it public the entire time. But yeah, I could do one. That doesn't seem too bad. I can just do a big 14 day tomorrow. So yeah, I'll cue that up later though, and because we will probably be talking excitedly, especially if I get the rest of the crows in there. So I'm ready. I hope you're ready for What's Up specials, the Crow edition.
Oops, so, all Dawn Trail.
It's true. But they say, Dear Lucky and Mega, no question this week. Thank you. I actually really tangented there. Just sending good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. And wishing you well. Keep up the great work. Doot emote. Doot.
And you too can doot in mailbag if you join our channel memberships. Click the join button.
And this next one comes from, I'm going to butcher this. Alias Prometheus Edor Corvin Fotia. Maybe I didn't pronounce it, but I'm not sure how to do double ED. Edor? But they say, hello, Crowballs, and so dark red it's black coat, Omega. I just wanted to ask this on my very lunch break as I'm trying to wrap up LB6 and see NEROFEST over the horizon. I asked the question to help bury my concern. I'm sorry, I immediately went to bury the light. God damn it, I blame Alter for this. What is a good pace to actually work on clearing content? Is it just finding a way to do it all at once and forget to log in afterwards, or just organize a plan to clear a certain amount each day? As someone with a job and terrible work signal, I don't have the time to work through FGO stuff during my lull and tasks. So how do you handle workloads? If even my schedule is comparable to how you juggle life, or am I just in the hell of my making? Regardless of that, I hope you have a great Friday with no recording errors, and maybe we can do some circles after the show. Yeah, we can do some circles after the show. Right now, I'm just doing the thing that I usually do when I'm talking and playing Final Fantasy 14, is I'm doing laps in the house. Alters come up to me twice and be like, hey, what you doing?
Recording the show, doing laps in the house. This is why I'm in my private chambers sitting on my futon. My TV's muted, but I am still logged in.
And as to your question, I know this is going to sound cliche, but just do what you can, when you can, how you can. Like, it is not a race. Like, the only person that you are competing with is yourself.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Obviously, I know we've talked about this with both a Lotto coming up and with our previous experience with stories. Yes, sometimes there is FOMO, there is agita when, you jump into your favorite community Discord, Studio Omega, and see that, it's been a day and one person is already like, well, done with the lost belt. But listen, don't feel bad about that. You just got to do it on your own time. Personally, I think for the most part, Lucky and I lean towards content binging where possible, but that's not always possible, right? You got other shit going on. We got to record shows sometimes and do other stuff and hang out with people and, look at our bank statements and other stuff.
I should look at my bank statement. I gotta buy.
Personally, I would say that in general, when it comes to just, stuff, set little goals, like, all right, I want to have, I need to make sure to work on FGO. I'm going to do, whether it's, I'm going to do 5 Lotto boxes today. And then, you do that every day for 2 weeks in an event. You have, 14 days times 5 boxes, that's fine. Or if it's just like, I'm going to clear, 1 section a day until I'm done, whatever works, set goals, make sure you stick to them. If you can go for a little bit longer, if you feel like you're jazzed, you're in it, do it. And if not, just be like, nope, I did my daily amount. I'm gonna pack my bags and go home. This may be comparable to some people in our audience. This is how I get through a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel events and grinding, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Can be very time consuming. I just look at like the how many duels or wins or awards, whatever I got to go through, and I just go like, okay, just need to win 2 more matches today, and we can go home. If it looks like I'm not going to win, we just surrender and go next, And while that can still take some time, obviously, if you're just keeping your eye on your prize, you can get through stuff a lot faster.
Alias? Sorry, the person who wrote this said that the A is silent. I'm just like, But for me, if I was to actually give advice, it is pretty much the same as Omega's, but mine's a little different. Just tell yourself that you are going to play FGO a day, and just play as much as you can, or as little as you can. Like, just make a broad goal to make progress, and just keep at that. I find more often than not that if I try to put like hard numbers into something, I will get agitated if I don't meet those numbers. Like, if, like, using your example, if I was to say I'm gonna do 5 Lotto boxes a day, but like one day I don't make it to 5 because, whatever reason, I only get like 3, then I'm just all like, I only did 3. I'm horrible at this game. You people should know, Lucky likes to say this about everything he does.
Yeah.
But, it kind of gets into a negative spiral for there. So usually what I do to mitigate that is I just say, hey, I'm going to sit down, play some FGO, and whatever happens, happens. I will definitely say this is probably not the most efficient way to do things, because sometimes I'm being like, some days like I just log in, futz around with like, 40 AP worth of stuff, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done. And other days, I go fucking Fate Apocrypha on something. But like, I've talked about this at my actual place. Is like, I am not a machine. I do not act like a machine. If I was a machine, you'd probably throw me out for fucking scrap right about now, because I am old and broken. I am not the best at focusing, and I literally have an attention disorder. So sometimes the best that I can hope for is just to get in and do what I can, where I can, and not concern myself too much about the details. Otherwise, it's just going to be a negative spiral, and I do not want a negative spiral associated with FGO. The game's negative enough as it is. Thank you.
And honestly, depending on the thing we're talking about, what audience don't find whatever works best for you. Because I've also definitely done the day thing where, like, I'm like, all right, today, Final Fantasy 16 day. I'm gonna play as much Final Fantasy 16 as humanly possible. Stuff like that. It really depends on whatever works best for you in your life.
And honestly,
you find your rhythm.
Was it Elias? Well, Elias in chat. If you fall asleep while playing FGO, you fall asleep while playing FGO. Like I said, there is no. Okay, I will say, like, you probably want to complete things before events are done, because those are timed. But other than that, yeah, find your own way. But we are going to move on. So this next one comes from Zed. Excuse me, alias Zed just said, because they're cheeky little git. Comment. Hello, Lucky Omega. Nice to finally have free time to write into mailbag. Hope you two are having a good day today. It's hype. I made Borga. I took a shower. I'm doing laundry. I'm doing laps in 14. Excited for the new expansion reveal.
I got a haircut yesterday, and this is my first time seriously wearing my headphones for a long time. My headset so it's weird to no longer be like straining against the hair.
There is a fly crawling on my eyelid right now, and I want to slap it, but I'm going to slap myself if I do that.
That is a very ballsy fly.
It is. It tickled.
That's like I don't. And listen, I live in Florida. We have bloodsuckers down here. I don't know a lot of bugs that are that bold.
I don't know why. I think it's because of just my natural musk or something, but flies have always been attracted to me. They are constantly landing on me. It's gotten to the point that I have stopped caring that when bugs crawl over me. So I don't know. There's just something about me that attracts bugs.
Skin, so do that. But I understand the thing, because I'm one of those people that like magically attracts mosquitoes. They want my blood.
But no, that was the first time I've had a fly crawling on my fucking eyelid. Oh, my eye's watering now. I had to blow it off, because I wasn't going to slap myself on the eye. Ugh. I don't mind flies that much, except when they land on my food. I'm like, hey, don't do that.
Depends. Are they, biting or stinging flies?
No. They're just common house flies. Like I said, we get a fuck ton of them around here this time of the year. Ugh. Alright, where were we? Sorry about that. That was a hell of a distraction.
So to answer your comment, no, you're not having a good day.
Yeah, it just suddenly got worse. But that did help me put me back on track. Alright. So, records from the throne. I threw a single 10 roll at the Morgan Rerun Butter, and my mother-in-law came home, so that's nice. This must be a Babo enthusiast. Question. Been a while, so here's a fun question. If you're trapped in a room with Morgan, Baba, She, Barkus, and Aurora, there is no way but a single... Oh, why? Why? No.
Lucky puts the kibosh on this.
No, I do not. This is some gaslighting right here. Trying to make me think about, some of these characters in a way that I maybe do not.
Chat, it's almost literally a you can't leave this room unless you have sex joke.
So unfortunately, no, I am not finishing this, and I refuse to entertain this thought anymore.
I'm just gonna retweet art of the anniversary series of Tyra.
Nice.
Yes, Kagekiyo is wearing a suit.
Really?
Yes.
Sick!
Behold. I
I will look at this. Nice!
Yeah, the CEs are pretty good this year. Still only 2 tickets. I guess you got to do the weird rolling thing.
Is it the rolling? If it's rolling.
So there's two exchange tickets. I don't think they've confirmed if there's a banner for them or not, but I hope there is because that's what they did last year. We didn't get that this year, but yeah.
Yeah, no, like if there's a banner for them, like, oh no, my wallet. Hang on, I have to do this in the right voice. This next one comes from No, the sun is a deadly laser. Everyone, please go watch The History of the Earth. It is a delight.
And if you don't want to watch the whole thing, you can just watch. There's a video that's just the song bits. It's still like 5 minutes. There's a lot of musical interludes.
I still think it's like what 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I think, but it's very good. And informative.
It's a YouTube 20 minutes. Okay, chat. Like it moves. All right. It's the literal history of everything in 20 minutes. Okay. China's whole again. And
But
then
it broke again. Okay, I'm putting that on the queue next time we do something together. Putting History of Japan and History of the World in there.
Oh, we've got a few things we can do that for. Got a new Ambiguous Amphibian video this week.
I need to catch up on my Rubik's. Yeah, I gotta catch up on my Rubik's Raptor too.
This week's video is they played Trouble in Terrorist Town with Pavlov VR.
Oh, okay.
It involves quite a lot of people getting shot in the face.
As Raptors do. So, they say, hello, Loki and Meg. I hope you're well and taking heat precautions. No question, just wishing good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. I have been trying to increase my water intake, not just because it's hot, but because I need to drink more fucking water. All of you need to drink more water. You think you're drinking enough water? You're not.
I'm actually pretty sure I may be drinking enough water.
Actually, that is true, Omega. You probably drink enough water.
I drink a lot of water, Chad. I drink the equivalent of, I think, like, I'm trying to do the math. It may be 3 or 4 bottles of water a day. Because it's hot. And also because hydration is important.
Hydration situation. But we will try to take better heat precautions. Especially tomorrow. I'm going to be out working in the yard again because I am determined to have a green lawn. It's getting there. I have like the greenest lawn on our fucking street. But as I continue in my old age, I find myself doing things like gardening, book clubs, other such nonsense. But we're gonna move. Hey guys, don't got a question for you this week. Just sending good well wishes and good vibes. Wah 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 wah. Take it easy and try to stay cool in the summer heat. I will. Now that we're getting to August, I think usually, I don't know, for me, I think it's like usually August. That's usually the hottest month for me. I don't know if that's how it is everywhere, but I think that's how it usually is here. This is where we're gonna get the weird shit. I don't know why. Then again, I also do feel like over here, summer doesn't actually end until like October. It's still gonna be hot as balls during September.
The average peak of summertime heat varies across the lower 48, but for the majority of Americans, it happens in July or early August. From theweather.com.
Yeah, no. It might just be because where we are in the hemisphere, but ours is usually like mid to late August, but it's pretty close, I guess. This next one comes from Ayas, the one waiting to bully the CQs, as you do. Oh, this is interesting. Sorry, I did a little bit pre-reading because this is a paragraph, but it's a good paragraph.
New text block.
Yep. Guys, remember how people disputed the the title? You put double T's in there, my dude.
The tittle
of LB6 the moment a blank is born. The whole problem that being the word used in JP can be used for both planet and star, but sadly English doesn't have an easy word for that. How would you guys feel about the use of the word aster, which is a Greek origin word meaning celestial body, which can be applied to both stars and planets? I admit you have to force it a bit to mean the planet Earth, and being Greek origin would have felt weird to those who don't know about it, but I can understand it would have worked for both the double meaning and hide the meaning of what the word was relating to in the narrative of LB6. Sincerely, IS, the one who will try to monk. Honestly, I like it. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah,
I don't think...
I think it's got the awkwardness of being a loan word, again, in in both languages.
Mhm.
It could work. I mean, in English, I don't think the cadence of like the moment an aster is born. Also, honestly, this is literally just a me thing, but it makes me want to say asterism, but that's referring to formations of stars. Strictly speaking, I think it just a lot of it has to do with just fan translation point, because the planet is pretty important, and a lot of people got attached to the moment a planet is born. Strictly speaking, the archaic, the older use of star refers to a luminous body, which can include both our sun and also the other planets in our solar system, which I'm pretty sure is why it's Hoshi for both in Japanese. But yeah, it's one of those weird cases where, like, I don't know, we all know the star symbolism was better. But yeah, it reads like a little bit of an awkward loan word there, but Fate's no stranger to that. Hell, we got away with. I mean, I think, especially after it's all said and done, thematically, Tamlin is way better. But the Tamlin Knights was a little chunky when it was kind of coming out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should have just kept the double play of star and then just let the people who are like, but it's about the planet. No, planet is star. Star is planet. Get over yourselves.
I mean, we can get away with it in 14. We can get away with it here.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe in 14 they think it's an acceptable move. Well, one, I think the fan bases are probably different.
True.
But also, I think people complain about it less because it reads, kind of like slightly more archaic English.
Well, yeah, I was actually just thinking about that. 14 is basically its own world and whatnot, so it doesn't necessarily play by the same vernacular.
I think people just got too... unless the Japanese was literally like, blah, 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 planeto. Unless they literally use the English loanword, I don't think either translation was necessarily more correct, and star had a lot more meaning, but alas, alack, we're here now. But interesting proposal to kind of keep the ambiguity, like I said, by using a different loan word.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. But
Zazz.
Put a little jazz in there. But this next one comes from Procrastinator is back. Sort of. They say, have a good weekend. Same to you, my dude. This next one comes from Soul of the Light Mode Discord, who says, Dear Lucky the Elder and Emperor Omegustus.
Can I just say, I really appreciate the effort with all the Latinate, deers this week. You guys are really trying. Bringing your A game.
Big rum energy.
Roma.
I just wanted to wish you both a safe Lotto grind fest, even though you both only dabble in the addiction, and enjoy some good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. Those are your good vibes because they wrote them out. If you write out the wahs, you get half-ass wahs. That's the rule now. And they finish with a, should I make an soundboard? I don't know. I think it's too short.
Yeah, it's pretty short. I feel like that could get rapidly fired. That's a little troublesome.
Yeah.
We've done it before, but yeah, it could.
Fly has landed on me, but has landed on my shoulder, so it's A-okay. And finally, last but not least, the one, the only, the legend himself, Agent 418, saying, hello, Lucky Omega. Have a good weekend, y'all. Same to you, my dude. Same to you.
Yeah, we'll see if we have a safe Lotto Fest as well. I genuinely think I might need to invest in a wrist brace.
Man, you did too much writing.
Yeah, I mean, I may not be resting it properly, considering I still get on our Discord and type and stuff, but I have been trying to take it easy, but it kind of comes and goes.
You might want to see about maybe popping, getting some heat pads, ice pads, ibuprofen, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I have ibuprofen for just daily stuff, but yeah, getting some extra heat or cool to relax. I also may just because it's hot and not. I don't think I'm sleeping well. My sleep posture may just be fucked. Maybe I should install Pokemon Sleep, but I'm worried what it'll tell me. I have seen some people taking some screen caps of their sleep levels. Also, you have to lay your phone on your bed when you do that, so it can use its accelerometer to check if you're tossing and turning. That sounds like a bad idea for some people. But that is the mailbag. As raw audio-wise, we round out to about an hour and a half here. I am noticing Audacity is being a little laggy, though, rendering the smooth sound waves, so I'm going to stop this down for a second. We'll take a quick intermission, and we'll come back for free talk. Anyway, let's get back to recording.
That's because Yuka is the treasurer.
Many things, many questions. All right, we're back. Free talk. Number one, somebody did bring this up last week because we did a lot of So You Didn't Get That 5-star. And they were like, oh, you didn't do Habatrat. And I was like, joke's on you. You can't get Habatrat while trying to roll a 5-star. But it is actually good to talk about her because the playable version is slightly different than the NPC version we got. So it's time for a very unusual Welfare Corner. Just play, like, the Saturday morning cartoon, jingle there. Like you're watching Muppet Babies. Also, I do genuinely, I know it's not quite the same because there's not necessarily the easily accessible free copies, but Habenyan really is like a welfare. She only has, one set of sprites, stuff like that. So, she's basically a welfare. She's in the FP gacha. She's a little different than normal. But yeah, we can talk about her because she is a pretty good little writer. Pretty low attack, median HP for SR writers. Pretty decent. She's QQAAB Cloud with solid hit counts in NP game. Now, here's something some of you may not even have had a chance to test out your new Habatrats out, but as an NPC in the Lost Belt, she had a pretty minimalist but good support NP. His arts gave some healing and stuff. But as a playable unit, she's got an AoE arts NP that is damaging, actually. It deals defense ignoring damage, increases her NP damage by 30% for the turn, lowers her star weight for 3 turns, and generates stars based on overcharge. I think it starts at 20, and then maxes out at 40.
That's a lot.
Yeah, especially considering, an FP gacha unit. Just, my personal observation here, note-wise. This is probably what we should have done for MASH to represent the Black Barrel, but we got regular MASH back, so it doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, very solid NP. Free NP5 with defense ignoring, damage up, big star drop. Very useful for certain team comps. And the star weight down debuff doesn't even matter because you don't want Habatrat to beat the critter. You want her to generate the thing. No, her NP does not make her the die. We'll talk about that one later. Now, her first couple skills are the same as her NPC version, but they're both very reliable. Her first skill is a targeted 1k to 2k heal, 1 turn of debuff immunity on that targeted servant, and 52 100% star gen for 1 turn on that servant, with a 3-turn cooldown. That's right, we have found a better heal than Jack's surgery. 2k heals every 3 turns. Also, you get a 1 turn of debuff immunity, and, like I said, literally double your star gen for that turn. We are doing good. Her second skill is a 50 to 80% battery on herself, 20 to 30 arts up for 3 turns on herself, but deals 2k damage to Habatrat, so a little bit of self-damaging, though this cannot KO her. But now that she has a damaging AP, the 80% battery is worth a lot more speed. But it's her final skill that is the big one. First of all, this skill only works on ladies, so keep that in mind for your team comps. But it is a targetable buff. It gives them invincible for 1 turn, gives them a 1-time 5 turns, 2k to 5k guts. That's right, maxes out at a 5,000 HP guts for 5 turns. It is a 1k to 2k heal per turn. I believe it's for 3 turns. And also removes their dots. Removes ailment-type debuffs, but that's poison, curse, and burn, so removes dots. But after 1 turn, Habatrat is the die. Basically, like a lot of self-deleting skills, it puts a timer on her. After 1 turn, it goes off, and she suffers instant death. It counts as a buff. So technically, if you get a buff, like a buff removal, it goes away. Also, I don't believe the instant kill ignores guts, so you can guts herself if you need her, if you want to give the boost on her. But yeah, it's mostly just like a really big amp on an allied servant. Gives you great longevity treatment, which, she's an arts unit, so that's pretty solid. Passes are pretty basic. She has writing C, item creation B, and, speaking of these earlier, has the passive Fey Eyes C for critical resistance. Obviously, the summonable Habatrat is not, literally Lost Belt Habatrat Totorat. But that does have some implications. We may have seen many of those sprites of Habatrat looking at people funny because she had her Fey Eyes. I'm pretty sure that's what every time Castoria has a weird insert shot in LB6 is supposed to be, is her perceiving a lie. So Habatrat might also be the same thing. But yeah, a solid little support unit for her rarity. She has damage and support potential. Should be a great add to any squad, but especially any squad that is arts-based and involves women's. But yeah, no, seriously, just a 80% battery into a defense-ignoring Noble Phantasm. Very solid. And also, hey, every 3 turns, 2k heal. Choice. Great. Good stuff. Very solid team-up stuff. So yeah, expand your arts comps now. Yes. No. Robyn is bringing this up in chat, but I will reiterate to people. If you do in fact do mana loading for 20% starting battery, you do in fact become K-Scope, which means you could give her Black Grail and do a lot of damage. Units who can go from 0 to 100 are always pretty spicy, so there's definitely some fun there. Obviously, I'd be a little concerned about her overall maximum damage numbers, but for general farming, it should be fine. And that means it's time to wrap up our show, because it's the last show of the month, with a Fanservant Friday. So the winner of our poll, as I double and triple check this week, is Houdini, Harry Houdini, caster. Did an America-themed thing today. I still feel pretty, questioning that I talked about this design I had before, but like I said, I double and triple checked all the polls, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't been on a poll before, unless, my Control F is just loading weird. So I don't know if I talked about this one as, a concept for Fanservant Friday before doing the polls. Yes, I think I may have mentioned it during the AP as well. So if this is indeed redundant information, I apologize, but I tried to double-check everything, and I thought it was okay, so I'm pretty sure he didn't show up on a list before now, so we'll get out of it. But caster Harry Houdini, and yes, caster. So yeah, there's I think some actual some work there. And I say this mostly because I'm going to talk about skill-wise later for mystery reasons, basically. But a lot of people who knew Houdini in real life, despite the fact that he was a famous skeptic is not the correct word, but he was a famous debunker. The reason why Houdini was such a dedicated debunker of mysticism and fraud was that actually he was not a skeptic. He was a huge believer, but he also didn't like to be scammed. So Houdini did a lot of work to debunk things because he was very fixated on things being, actually out there. But yes, Harry Houdini, real name Eric Weiss. It's backwards. I don't actually know you're supposed to pronounce that. He was also known as Harry Handcuff Houdini. He did a lot of the famous escape stunts you've probably heard or seen. Chaining himself, throwing himself in rivers, the milk can escape, the Chinese water shell, the straitjacket. Many, many classics of escape. He was also starred in film. He was an amateur aviator. He actually very, very fond of planes. But he had a long line of effort as a stage magician and escape artist. Like I said, a fascination with psychic powers, mysticism, etc. But he, became a famous debunker because he blocked a lot of stuff out. So, caster, alignment true neutral, stats, strength D, endurance A, very tanky for a caster, but makes sense. Agility C, NPC, luck A+, NPC, very average stats all around. But very tough endurance because, boy howdy, this guy did a lot of arguably very dumb stuff. I know he did a lot of practice. There was a lot of, sleight of hand involved in the straitjacket escapes and shit. But, damn, you're not going to catch me doing, straitjacket stunts in a glass box of water. Class skills, passive skills, item creation, E, territory creation, B+. But writing, C, again, aviation. Very fond of it, and I think it would be interesting to, as casters are actually allowed to have decks that matter now, you could do a switch up here. Very interesting to do those things and actually have a little bit of a quick focus on some stuff. But I think territory creation for arts would work out very well with some other stuff I've got down the line. Personal skills, number 1, golden rule, C. Just the general skill that measures one's ability to get more wealthy. Houdini was pretty rich during life, and not just from performing, but also he took on a lot of challenges for cash prizes, and also won several legal disputes with people who he debunked. So he was well known for making money from a lot of sources and for being very generous with it. So appropriate to give him a median level of golden rule. Just a minor, joke note probably would be only dedicated to the side profile, Magecraft E-, as in knowledge of, modern Magecraft systems. I'm not going out here saying, Harry Houdini was actually a mage in Fate. No. Generally the way he, was very open about being a stage magician, I don't think that would work. But you could argue in his own way, his seeking of spiritualness, he sought the root. And, given his, abilities, a lot of people thought he was magical. So, giving him a little bit of magic juice would be very funny. He wouldn't have any idea what he was doing, but, I think it's cute to give him a little magecraft nod there. Unique personal skill, Skeptic Eye, B++, modeling this off of some of Waver / Luge's bills here, So this is his unique ability to, despite the fact that he believed in supernatural occurrences, he was super known for exposing fakers, forgeries, and hoaxes. So it gives him the equivalent of magic resistance, though depending on how FGO wanted to do this, it could actually, give him MR as well. Class skills get pretty spread out for servants. But also be kind of an active anti-magic skill. His keen eyes degrade the ranks of magics, magecraft, noble phantasms, and others so on just by him looking at him. So probably a stall-out type ability, increase his debuff resistance or debuff immunity, or maybe even your whole team, but also, give, say, an opponent, arts down, NP effectiveness down, something like that. Because, Houdini's always out there looking at you, being like, hey, is this real? What's this? What's going on here? Also, fluff-wise, would probably let him pick up on the mechanics of a lot of stuff going on. Could be very useful in a actual Grail War scenario. Because a lot of noble phantasms and personal skills and stuff have, weird tricks. And Houdini would be like, I see your trick. And then this, I think, I'm actually pretty sure this may have come up. This skill may have come up because I applied it also to my homebrew of my fan creation of Arsène Lupin, which I am pretty sure has actually won a poll before. Pretty sure we did do that. Sleight of Hand, EX. Skill of manual dexterity for lockpicking, palming, pickpocketing, card tricks, and trick throwing. Houdini was known as the Handcuff King. This is actually one of the things he was known for. So his rank is EX because the world cannot conceive of a lock Harry Houdini cannot pick, a safe he cannot open. It was his thing. This is where he got some of that money I talked about from challenges. This actually, I think there are still some of these challenges out there, but it's a lot more rare these days. But this used to be a thing around the turn of the 20th century, where you would, go to London and be like, I bet you cannot pick this lock. And then Houdini would pick the lock and win, $10,000 or whatever. So, the ultimate lock-picking man. Yes, the OG lock-picking lawyer. I mean, I'm going to be real. That would, if Harry Houdini existed today, that would be his thing. He would run a YouTube channel, and it would be lockpicking, escape stunts, debunking. I'd fucking watch Harry Houdini on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do some great work there. But yeah, so Sleight of Hand to EX, also, as I discussed when I did this with Arsène, means that, you can turn cards or knives into thrown projectiles very easily. Any kind of, Sleight of Hand or Ledgermain effects there. So he could, throw some other weird stuff, do some other weird tricks, and so this would probably be like a quick booster and also have some other effects, like maybe, buff strip enemies, remove debuffs from self kind of a thing. I'm not really sure how mechanically you translate, the idea of being cuffed or bound, other than, stuns that you... Guess what, guys? Chat, you can't use skills while you're stunned, so stun removal skills don't work. We saw this with Sasaki Kozuto for many years until they fixed that. But maybe it is just a general debuff cleanse and a quick up kind of a thing.
What were you saying to him actually being immune to stun effects?
I mean, that could be a really interesting passive, as the Handcuff King.
Yeah. In general. You cannot contain this man, literally.
There are, because there are quite a few. There's obviously the Medusa adjacent Petrify. There's the Bound status effect from, Jean and Amakusa's effects. That should absolutely be nah. And could definitely ignore certain stuns. Probably stuff like, I could see an immunity to, Terror, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't scare Harry Houdini. He knows what he's doing. That would be a very interesting, I think, passive, yeah. By the way, Chad, I should mention that. Like I said, part of the reason why I'm not sure if I've ever actually discussed this in full is because this is a very old homebrew I've gotten. Because Harry Houdini is cool, and also was in, there is actually a mythology about him. Not only was he in, movies and stuff, but, he was a character who appeared in, pulp, fiction and stuff. Lovecraft wrote a story about actually Houdini. I think that was Beneath the Sphinx. So, there's a lot of pop culture stuff. Yeah. He appeared in as himself in several Weird Tales episodes in magazines. So
clearly, clearly, it's that we don't need caster Houdini. We need foreigner Houdini.
You could also do that route. I did not. One, again, this is very old. I don't know if we were firmly established in foreigners, but also yes, as Axe said, I also didn't want to jump through the hoops of figuring out what Eldritch entity he would be plugged into. But I'm sure there are very many you could work with there, obviously, you could do similar to Abigail with Yog-Sothoth, literally called the Lock and the Key. I'm pretty sure in Beneath the Sphinx, he runs into some manifestation of Nyarlathotep or Queen Nitocris, shit like that. Also, by the way, there'd be a lot of I think there'd be opportunity for very funny interactions. Hey, chat, speaking of people who believed that Harry Houdini was actually magical, do you know who one of those people was? Arthur Conan Doyle. Sorry, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Who was not a skeptic. He was a big believer in stuff. Again, this makes perfect sense that Holmes is a caster. Houdini and Doyle actually had a falling out because Doyle insisted Houdini was magic, and Harry was like, no. So, you would have some very interesting interactions with Holmes, obviously, and probably with Moriarty. Obviously, like I said, I think there could be some interesting commentary with the way, FGO handles Nitocris as more in line with her original pseudo-historical definition by Herodotus. Keep in mind that Herodotus made up a lot of stuff. And less on the Call of Cthulhu RPG elements, which Japan knows about a lot. And I think there'd be, a few other things. You could probably mention Blavatsky as well, and maybe some other turn-of-the-century mages. I also think, like I said, skill-wise and personality-wise, I expect he would get along with a handful of other, weird servants. I could see him and Waver actually getting along very well, because, Waver is a magic professor and magic detective. Why don't it? But we haven't talked about the Noble Phantasm yet. This is the big deal. The big bunko. Life or Death, the Escape Artist stage. A C++ rank anti-personnel Noble Phantasm. Basically, the conceptual aspect of Harry Houdini doing life or death stunts. Numerous escapes. Using his territory creation skill as a workshop, he can create a stage where he can replicate any of his famous stunts. The Chinese water torture, the milk can escape, the suspended straitjacket, the buried alive stunt. Basically, in a flash, he sets up a stunt, which is, a literal death trap, sucks the enemy into it, gives them a limited time to escape or die. Other people in the area cannot interfere because they are the audience. But because Houdini himself can always escape, obviously, he kind of has to put himself in the same life or death situation. Enemies the trap has the concept that it can be escaped, so enemies who work fast or are just lucky can escape, but Houdini is always pretty fast, and enemies who are too slow will get in there. And obviously, for NP purposes, the actual animation will be the same every time, but in my notes, his repertoire of these life or death stunts was so broad that in an actual Grail War, Harry Houdini would never have to use the same death trap twice. Probably would be an instant death check, but also I could easily see, I'm thinking single target quick. Houdini only ever did the death traps himself, but probably, instant death chance, make sure to do damage first, because that's modern, but roll an instant death chance. Possibly include, stun check, kill check, or stun check, damage, kill check, like how Gablog Alternative works, where it's the stun and the instant death. And definitely get some, extra pizzazz in there.
Pizzazz!
Art design-wise, I think there's a lot of funny things you could do with Houdini. Obviously, we have pictures of the man and stuff like that, but we also have, posters of him. For instance, look at this.
Oh no, I know what it should be. Omega, what was the lockpick king skill again? You're calling it?
Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand. Instead of that, it should give him 3 turns immunity to stun, and then when he does his Noble Phantasm, he also stuns himself.
Yeah, because he binds himself. But if you do the skill setup right, it doesn't. Yeah, there's a couple of servants like that. Obviously, I think it's technically one of her skills, but Lip has a similar setup with her debuff immune, and obviously, that's where Tomo Cat's buffs went.
Yep.
But there's a lot of opportunities for stuff with Houdini. Obviously, he's done, straight jackets that could be open. I expect at least one ascension would probably be him all bound up in chains and locks. Here, let me show this very famous picture from is this from 1899. This is one of his stunts where he's literally chained, elbow, neck, wrist stuff. It could actually be the bound status. We don't use that enough, and that's defined as different from stun. Could do some interesting works there. I mean, technically for FGO, there's a difference between what I think is appropriate for the fluff, the backstory lore of a servant, and what actually works mechanically. It could just be give him 3 turns of debuff immunity, and then that works for his Noble Phantasm as well. Or it could also be just all forms of stun. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff, slung from skyscrapers, straitjackets. I'm imagining the Ascensions would probably be, like I said, like, start out in, the suit, and then, more handcuffs, more chains. That obviously he, breaks out of as part of his animations, possibly hits enemies with, just throwing padlocks at dudes. Listen, old school padlocks are heavy, y'all. Slapping them with chains, shit like that. So you could have a lot of fantastical moves out there. Oh yes, that would be like his extra animation would be like he just goes like, and just a fucking trapdoor opens up in the floor and sucks an opponent in, and they take like 5 hits. That'd be very funny. Yeah, you could have a lot of fun here. And yeah, I know that Fate and a lot of properties in general kind of juggle back and forth on whether or not we should involve, literal real people, but there's obviously a lot of mystery with Houdini, and I think there could be some fun here. He's got tie-ins to certain, story elements. I think he's got a really interesting, like, personal backstory, and just, escape artist shit. It's very fun. And that was your Fanservant Friday poll for this month. And also, that will probably be about it for your FGO this week. We've hit almost 2 hours. Raw. Pretty solid, talking about some stuff. But I don't have anything further to add to the FGO, so I would say to just, keep your eyes peeled for those panel anniversaries, and we'll be seeing you soon. Enjoy your NEROFEST.
Enjoy.
All right. And now, the outro. If you're watching this video on YouTube and you like it, be sure to give it a like. It really helps. Feed the algorithm. Leave your comments down below. Feed us, feed the algorithm. And like I said, leave your comments. That helps as well. And also, we'd like to see your comments. I've asked for your direct feedback several times, so drop them. If you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to the channel to get more Let's Talk FGO every week, and also other fun stuff like servant reviews, known as Wanted, and live streams and stuff. Even if you're already subscribed, make sure to ring the bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream. If you want to make sure, obviously time-wise it won't work out because I have to edit this and upload it and turn it around, but hypothetically, Lucky will be streaming, in a special time frame for Final Fantasy stuff, and if you wanted to make sure you catch that, you need to be subbed and have the bell rung.
Bell.
I also mentioned earlier, you can join our channel memberships for access to membership badges and emotes. Our special emotes can be used on our comments and on our community page as well as during live stream chat, so you can do anywhere with us. Click the join button or the link in the description. And like I mentioned at the start of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to the audio version of this show for as little as $1 a month or $10 a year for an annual membership, and lots of other goodies at higher levels, including the Fanservant Friday poll at the 5 and up level. And it really helps support us. All right. This has been Let's Talk FGO. We'll be seeing you next week for more Let's Talk, and, look around for that special What's Up /14 stream. Good day, everybody.
Good day.